Hello, everybody, and welcome to Live Coding Afternoon Tea. My name is Travis Toulson, and here with me today is none other than Roy Kent. He's the strong silent type, though, so we're just going to set him over here. Welcome, everyone in the chat. So Laszlo has now dubbed this show Alleycat because the initials are Alleycat, so we might have to work that into the intro. So today we are taking a look at an app that I have been working on recently. So a little backstory behind this. I've been doing a lot of work in Claude, Claude, doing a lot of work in AI lately, thanks to Earl's inspiration. And I've been using it to help with content ideas. I've been using it to help with coding. Really, I've kind of been using it all over the place. But one of the problems that I ran into was that whenever I was trying to talk about an app in ServiceNow that I was working on, if the repo was private, there wasn't really a good way for me to get the information into Claude to have a conversation about it. So I'd end up having to do this long info dump trying to explain the app. So what I wanted to do was create a way to document a ServiceNow application into like Markdown so that I could dump that into AI and then work on it through that. So, wrong one. Bear with me as I figure out the controls in StreamYard. So what I have done is created an app that now doesn't want to show. Yay, live streams! Hey there, Samara. Okay. Come back, instance. There we go. Let's try again. Oh man, now I have to log in again. Hooray for preparedness. Yeah, Track, I am trying to solve the white screen and... Yes, Lauren, even we are not exempt from two-factor authentication. It is a requirement from Xanadu forward, as I recall from TechNow. There we go. Now we're in. Okay, so what I have created is a metadata documentation app, and I've already created a lot of this app already. And what was cool is that I didn't actually write most of the code for it. I did most of it over here in Claude, which now doesn't want to show. Let's go back and try again. So basically, what I did was I told Claude, and I'm going to go back and forth between pronunciations, just bear with it. I am writing a ServiceNow application that contains the following data model. So I created the tables directly in ServiceNow, and then I explained the data model. From there, I gave it kind of a description of how I wanted the application to work. The gist of it is that it goes through the sys metadata table and generates documentation for each record as it comes across it using template scripts on a per table basis. We'll take a look at those in a second. So I explained what I wanted it to do, and it spit out the initial version of some script includes, or a script include. It spit out a client script or sorry, a UI action script, and a business rule, I believe. I think there's a business rule in there too. But so it spit out some code for me to plug into the application, and basically I had the first version of the application working in less than an hour. It was honestly kind of weird. What we have now, Earl says he's Team Claude. I'm going with Clayude. I'm going with Clayude. That's my new pronunciation. Like fetch, we're gonna make it happen. So what we've got here is the basic setup is you have a document template record. The document template leverages, there we go. It's got an introductory script, which basically spits out the intro of the document. You have some body templates that each correlate to a specific type of metadata. And then you have an outro template. And really, I'm just using JS template literals in a script to generate Markdown. Each of the template scripts look pretty much the same as this. We're going to take a deeper look at those in a minute. And then I have a set of tables that the documentation should ignore. So anything in that list, it'll just skip over and keep going. And the default template handles any of the tables that don't have a body template listed for them. All this comes together in two ways. So the first one here is this one's documenting this app itself. So if I switch that to generate and save. Oh, more metadata. Okay, so last time this app was not so large that it needed to do the attachment route. Basically, if the document size is under 65,000 characters, it'll dump the document into this text field. And if it's larger than that, it'll dump it into the attachments. That too was generated by Claude. I was kind of hoping it would let me just show it in the text field, but the app size has been growing, so let's see if I can share this screen as well. And here, let me switch my screen share for a minute. I tried to use OBS so that I could switch between this stuff more easily, but it wasn't working out as planned. So basically the result looks something like this. So we end up with Metadata Documentation app, and as we go through, you get the data model, and so now you've got, you know, the body template table, what it extends, package information, all the fields on that table, what the data types are. And so now I can actually take this and that's the last you're going to see of the documentation. Now that I think about it, I could have just pasted it into Claude and that probably would have worked just as well, and you guys still could have seen it, but okay, so let's come back over here. Cloud Strife. I love it, Earl. All right, so I'm actually going to start a new chat. So what I can do is I can now dump this metadata documentation in, and I can turn around and say, I don't know, let's try just dumping it in there and see what it does with it. Usually I would provide a little context and be like, hey, here's some documentation for an app, but I kind of want to see what it does with it if I just dump the document in. So dump the information in. There we go. This is a comprehensive documentation of a ServiceNow metadata documentation app. Let me create an interactive visualization. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. This is actually kind of cool. It's creating a website to diagram it, I guess. Oh, we're looking at this. We're looking at this. It's like, okay, sorry. I didn't have that happen last time because I gave it some introductory text and told it, hey, I'm going to give you some information about an application and then ask you questions about it. But so now I can tell me the script includes in this app. It's going to take a minute. That's sad. Oh, sorry about that. Sarah says, to share my screen. And Earl says, no one tell him. Thanks, Earl. Good looking out. Yeah, so basically, I dumped the metadata documentation app in, and it is now creating a web page of some kind in order to build an interactive visualization, but it's taking a long time, and I'm not a fan of that. So one of the things that I'm going to jump back here while it's generating that. Let me generate the one for the C3 app because the one for the C3 app actually generates some problems. That's what I'm actually going to be diving into code-wise today. So let's delete this. And we'll, oops, let me get rid of these errors as well. Okay. Now we'll redo this. Okay. So what happens when it generates a document is sometimes you'll get these errors in the template script. So it logs out all of the errors into the log entries. This was a fun add as well because I added the log entries after the fact when I started getting errors in my template scripts. And so basically I told Claude, hey, I just created a new table and I need you to update the script include to log all errors to this new table. And it fixed it up and away we went. So when it logs out the errors, I can see that there was an error generating template section for database indexes.markdown. And I can see that it was a type conversion error on line 25. So now I can go into the template script and try to solve some of these issues. And that's what I'm actually working on at this point, is trying to get these template scripts to work correctly because not all of them are. Claude is still running its mouth about this web page. So keep going, buddy. Keep going. Roy is disappointed in you. Let's see here. All right, so database indexes, line 25. So I got to go to my template scripts. Yeah, we got to zoom that back out. That's too uncomfy. Roy Kenting is the new rubber ducking. Yes. Yes, it is. And I have more than one Roy Kent to choose from because Roy Kent is here. He is, in fact, there, and he is, in fact, everywhere. This is a family-friendly show, so we'll have to leave certain parts out. Yeah, Claude will build an entire app for 5 minutes from one prompt and make you wait. So let's go back to that database index line 24, I think. So down on line 24, add description if present. Now, usually, most of the errors I've been encountering have been just Claude making up fields, the field not existing and some value being undefined. But I actually want to try something. This is throwing an error for, I think it was type conversion. Please fix it. I haven't tried this yet, so at least not in the template scripts and not in this way. I have been using Now Assist here and there on different things, especially with fixing and asking it to troubleshoot different scripts, but I haven't done it in this context yet. So now the AIs are helping the AIs. Let's see what it suggests. Yeah, that doesn't feel like it's it. That doesn't feel like it's it. So basically the change it's suggesting is 1, to remove the comment, and 2, to add the or quote quote. I'm curious. I highly doubt this is going to work, but does the description field exist on the sys index table? Yeah, that's sad. I was kind of hoping it would be able to give me an answer there. If in Claude Code or Cursor, it's better to export an app or get a repo of an app that has a good example of an existing virtual agent than reference that. I might be missing a context on that one. All right, so let me pull up a different window and we'll go to sys index. We'll check on, oh, Claude has done a thing. Can I open this? So this is what Claude built. I'm not thrilled with its CSS work or its arrow work on this diagram, but I like the way it broke things up into system access control, system configuration, data model and storage, business. That all this is actually somewhat accurate, even though it's kind of mixing tables and scripts a little bit. It's got the application workflow correct. Create templates, configure documents, create an export config, and generate document. That is the process for using this app. So all things considered, that's not bad. Not great, but not bad. Oh, and it took over my Claude window. So let's go back to it. And I think it was this one. Okay, so now that it's done, I can ask it silly questions. So now, because I handed Claude the documentation, I can now begin asking it questions about this application. So it can tell me about the script include that's in it, key responsibilities, and bear in mind the actual description field on this script include, it does have some information in it if I remember correctly, but like it is definitely expanding on the description. Like it's reading the code and figuring stuff out on its own. Oh, this is cool. The template developers toolkit. So this definitely was not in any of, I definitely did not describe any of this in the documentation. But this is the basis of all of the template scripts is basically, it leverages this map.gr function in order to build templates. So that's kind of funny that it plucked that out. And it shows you how to use it. This stuff is crazy. Okay, so I'm on the index table. Configure dictionary. Column name starts with... Okay, so there is no description column. There is no description field on the sysindex table. Out of curiosity. I'm just curious to see what Claude gives us. This is fun, seeing how the different AIs respond to different questions and comparing the different processes. This is a lot of what I've been playing around with, is just where I can pull AI into my workflows and which AIs to use. Because there's definitely things that that I prefer Now Assist for, and there's definitely things I prefer Claude for. And there are definitely some things that I still just go back to plain old Google search on. Okay, so it told me that it doesn't know, and what I should do is look up the sys dictionary for sysindex. So it did tell me how to find the information, but I've already done that. So no worries, David. There will definitely be a recap, so we will be able to catch you up. And you are free to continue to join us anyway. Basically, we're going through a metadata documentation app that I built. We are using Claude in helping us build the app. We've also been experimenting with Now Assist in using it as I'm trying to troubleshoot some of the issues. All right, so I'm pretty sure the solution to that is just to delete that right there. So let's go back to the generated documents. And, okay. Yeah, it was undefined value has no properties. Okay, so we'll get rid of that one. Error generating template section for service portals. Undefined value has no properties, line 25. So we'll go to that. Service portals, line 25. All right, and you'll see that each of these templates corresponds to a specific table. So this template script is documenting the service portal table. So essentially, as the as the main query loop goes through all of the sys metadata records, it's going to look at what table that metadata record is on. If it encounters one that's SP portal, then it will use this particular template because it was configured that way in our document, in the document that we're using. So you can configure different documents to use different templates. So you could write template scripts that make HTML instead, or some other, as long as it was text, I suppose. I don't think it would support anything binary right now, but you could build the structure that you wanted, and that was key for me because exporting the application as update set was far too verbose, and Claude wasn't able to handle the large file that was created as compared to what I've been able to accomplish through this. So that's going to be the description field again. Pretty sure that's just a delete as well. And so another thing I want to cover real quick. So far I've been going to the generated documents, which is a record that's already been created, and I've kind of been reusing it, which is not how I designed the application to be used, but I've been lazy. The way it's supposed to work, for the most part, is you're supposed to come into the export config, which allows you to specify the document introduction. So you can see that I've got like some basics about this particular application. You pick the document template you want to use, which specifies the configuration for all of the table templates to use. And from here, I can click Generate Document, and that kicks off the script include that you saw mentioned before. And that's the whole thing. That's the whole process. Let's see. So that should fix that error. Event registry. Undefined value has no properties on line 31. Yeah, I don't think event registry has a condition field. True. Let's take a look at this table. Sys event. Is it registry? No. Event registry. There we go. So let's look at what fields are actually on this table. Description is. Yeah, I don't see anything regarding filter condition or condition. I don't think there was a script either. So with regards to the template scripts, what I did was I created 3 template scripts manually. I created template scripts for 3 of the tables manually. I took those scripts and plugged them into Claude, and I said, use these 3 examples, and I'm going to ask you to generate more template scripts. And so all the other templates have been generated by Claude. And so what you're seeing here is that Claude is just making up fields that don't exist. So these fields do not script, none of that exists. Email template. So it looks like what's happening here is it looks like Claude may have confused the sys event registry for the notification table. Email template, email recipients, workflow, REST endpoint. Yeah, like none of this None of that's on that particular table. I do need event name though. Okay, it did get event name. It did get table. It did get active. Order? I don't think there's an order. Yeah, there's no order. But there is a queue. And I do kind of want the queue. So real quick, this mapgr function, earlier Claude showed that script when I asked it what script includes there were. That's this mapgr function here. And basically, the sys metadata table does not have the ability to dot walk to the actual record. And so what this mapgr does is it acts as a map function or like a for each loop sort of thing that actually queries those records and passes the glide record for each item into this function. So this is basically a template for each record in that table. So that was just a utility function I created to simplify. And I told Claude how it worked and told it how to use it, and it did. And that's why it's important to still be a good coder, because everything must be reviewed. And yeah, that is a really, really great point in this, is that, yeah, Claude generated this entire app for me in like an hour or two. And that's like end to end. Like the first version took an hour. The rest of it took like 2 hours. Some of the template scripts have taken a little bit longer, but that's just been me dragging things out. But that's not to say that it all worked flawlessly on the first go. Things had to be debugged. For example, I'm using in order to evaluate these templates, I have to use the GlideScopedEvaluator API in ServiceNow. And Claude used an old version of the API back when you could pass it a script. Nowadays, if you want that API to execute, you have to pass it a glide record and the field name that contains the script. But so Claude was using an old version of the API, and it was throwing errors on me. And so I still had to know how to debug. I had to know how to find the issues in the code and how to look for them. And when I went and saw the GlideScopedEvaluator, I knew from my experience what that API was supposed to look like now. And so I was able to quickly make that change. And that's why it's the AI does not replace your skills as a coder. It does take care of a lot of heavy lifting for you. Like there's a lot that it can do to assist you and support you, but you still ultimately have to have key subject matter expertise on it to be able to make those scripts work. And I'll also add that like not all of these scripts are the most performant. There are already changes that I would make. But one cool thing is that I haven't been prematurely optimizing that code because Claude spun it up for me. So I haven't been as stressed about getting it in the most optimum shape right away. And there's pros and cons to that. I get code out quicker, but it might not be the best in that regard. Though I will say Claude is much better, much better at handling aggressive type checking and that sort of thing. Like it does a much better job than I usually do of defensive programming. Oh yes. GlideScopedEvaluator is like my favorite thing in the world. I love writing rules engines. In fact, C3's achievements engine uses GlideScopedEvaluator. I believe, yeah, I think that uses GlideScopedEvaluator in part of its processing. And Christy says it's great at helping with widget. AI is great at helping with widget development. Christy, I can't tell if you're trolling me or if you are trying to rope me into shamelessly plugging it on stream. Let's see. I think that's going to fix that one. Both. So C3 is our CreatorCon collectible community cards. There we go. CreatorCon collectible community cards. CreatorCon C3. So it is an app that we built leading up into Knowledge, and basically you could go in, take a picture of yourself, get an AI avatar of yourself in superhero form generated, and then we printed out a bunch of cards with people's avatars on it at Knowledge, and made a mobile app game out of it for people who were in attendance at Knowledge. We will be bringing a digital version of it to CreatorCon India as well, and it may make an appearance at the other World Forums. Pretty sure I can say that. Don't tell anyone. Okay, big reveal. The $20 card is actually my wife, Sarah Toulson. So she did have cards printed, but she was not able to make it. So her cards got stuck in the closet, and like a couple of them ended up circulating, I think, in people's booster packs. But so some friends of hers were trying to get their hands on a card of hers and went up and offered somebody $20 to buy her card off of them, and they turned it down. So she has been super proud of herself that her card is worth $20. So there you go. You guys are the first ones to get the story. All right, let's go back to that generated document. Clearly, one of the next things I'm going to have to do is create an export for these errors so that I can dump that into AI and ask it questions. Yeah. One of the things that I have found in working with AI is that I start thinking a lot more about how I can get data from other systems into AI. And I know that there's like the MCP protocol, I think it is, that's supposed to help you with that stuff. But I'm still learning from Earl on that one. So I have been doing it more of a brute force method of export-import type model. Scripted REST APIs 26. Line 26. Yeah, I don't think scripted REST APIs has a description. And the great thing is if I'm missing fields, I can always go back and add them later. So this script is actually kind of cool because I wanted all of the REST API stuff in one single script. And so I told Claude, I want you to grab all of the records from the scripted REST API table. And then for each one of those, I want you to grab all of the related records from the REST methods. And so, and I did the same thing with tables and fields. And so that's why those ones appear side by side, is because Claude actually generated the loops necessary to query up those related list records and embed documentation from one table inside of another, which I just thought was cool. I think that'll handle that one. All right, I'm a little tired of going back and forth, so let's generate a new document and see how our current changes have done. And I'm going to do it the right way this time. So I go to my export config, and I hit generate document. And we get our attachment. And we get our errors. I can't tell you how surprised I was when this part worked. Like, I explained to Claude that if it was above a certain character count, create it as an attachment instead of putting it into the field. And it actually used the GlideSysAttachment API, used it correctly, and all of that worked without me having to edit or fix anything. And even though in the C3 app, I did a lot of work with the GlideSysAttachment API, it's still not second nature to me. I still have to go and look up the functions and how to use it and everything else. So having Claude just handle that API for me and not have to think about it was fantastic. So let's see, we did get more errors out of this one. Got one on script action, line 35. Yes, sir. There's a version of... Let's find out. What API is used in this app to create the file attachments for longer docs? I don't remember. There it is. And this right here is why I made this app. This right here. So I could do dumb stuff like this. Because on one hand, could I have gone to the script include and gone and hunted it down and tried to find it? Yes. Yes, I could have. I absolutely could have done that. I could have gone through all of the steps. But being able to dump a file export of the contents of an app and just ask the AI about that context is so powerful. Like, I could not remember the information, but I didn't have to. So I was able to offload that entire part of my brain to AI. And that allows me to focus on things that I'm better at. Because asking Claude to actually architect this app didn't go quite as well. It was helpful. But it was much better at the actual scripting side of it. It was way better at that side. It's also really good at making suggestions for how to improve an app. So, for example, how would you go about making this app better? Template versioning, a template library to create a marketplace of pre-built templates for comp. Yeah, that is a good idea. Conditional templates, template inheritance, real-time preview. Okay. That's a good one. Okay, AI-powered descriptions, really, Claude? Really? That's a shameless plug. That is a shameless plug. I'm not saying I'm against it. Cross-reference detection, dependency mapping, impact analysis. It wants me to modernize the UI UX. What's wrong with UI actions? Collaboration features, team sharing, change notifications. It's calling me out on the fact that that I told it to put everything in one script, and it made it made some performance improvements to make it a little more asynchronous and parallel. But I wasn't familiar with the APIs that it was using, and I wasn't confident, so I told it not to do it. And so now it's calling me out and telling me to put it back. But yeah, so like, these are the sorts of conversations that I can begin to have with Claude. And of course, shamelessly, like, okay, here we go. Ready? I need to write a blog article because it's, no, wrong. It's literally my job. Can you help me write a technical article about this app? So these are all the different reasons that I built this silly little app, is that being able to have these types of conversations with context about the application I'm working on is huge. And what's cool is that I can also ask it to like pull up different script includes, and I can ask Claude to make changes to that script include. And it will begin to make changes. I can ask it about how the behaviors work. What is the process behind this specific activity? And it will tell me all the different script includes that are involved in that particular process. The whole thing has been really exciting for me to work with, just because originally I was having to explain to the AI what I had built. And this solves that problem. And so now the conversation between me, Claude, me, and ChatGPT becomes a little more fluid. I can build stuff in the app, export a document, drop the new version back into Claude, and continue the conversation without having to miss a beat. And basically it helps to maintain the context of the conversation in between some of those asynchronous changes. Thank you, Claude. How can we build an AI workflow into a pipeline so we can hook in incidents, defects, ideas, demands, and autofix? So one of the things I've seen with the, I think this is what stuff like the MCP protocol were built for, which is basically a way for you to communicate between third-party systems and AI. I think the MCP protocol is one of the answers for doing that. We'll have to get Earl involved for that. He's going to have to teach me that one. Other things that you could do is if you created endpoints that Claude could access, you could potentially publish certain information and let Claude access it. MCP protocol is probably the better way because that would give you better security on it. or starting the process in ServiceNow, integrating it to the AI models, and sending the data over that way could also possibly work. Earl is my robot overlord. I mean, if we're being honest, all of this was started because Earl and I were doing active one-on-ones. He was riding a bike and I was going for a run, and we were talking about AI, and he planted a million ideas into my head, and out came this. GitHub MCP is how I do it at the value pattern. Yeah, Earl, next episode. We got your next episode lined up there, buddy. Earl was talking about the MCP protocol and some of the stuff he's been doing with AI and Git on his last episode of Live Coding 11Zs. In case you're unaware, we have an entire multiverse of live coding shows at this point. We've got Live Coding 11Zs with Earl, Live Coding Afternoon Tea with me, Live Coding Second Breakfast with Christy, which is debuting next week, I think, and then the unofficial Live Coding Happy Hour with Mark Rothoff and I forgot who else is involved. Help, Earl, help. Retreating back real quick. Christie's is debuting on the 23rd. Ishan, thank you. Mark Rothoff and Ishan. There we go. No problem. My watch just told me no problem. Let's see. But yeah, so this is what I have been building all of this for, is just so I can have conversations about these apps. I'm really excited to see what some of ServiceNow's I'm really excited to get more hands-on with our builder agents, to see how those play out, because those, I have not gotten super hands-on with them yet, but they're supposed to be a lot more robust, and I'm really excited to try those out. Let's see, event name, table. Did I forget to save it? I don't know. There's no script content. There's no execution settings. No. Role conditions. None of this is... Or is this script action? I don't know. Okay, so this is the script action table. Okay, configure dictionary. Okay, so there is a condition script on this one. Synchronous class. Is there a description now? There is a description. I'm going to have to go back to the... I'm going to have to go back to the error on this one, because I don't remember what the error was now. I got sidetracked. Script action, line 35. And I'm probably going to do a couple more of these fixes, and then we'll probably round out the show, because we are getting to about that time. Line 35. So is there a table on this one? Script, condition script. Oh, okay. It's a condition script, not a condition field, so no table is required. So yeah, there is no table field. Database indexes, line 25. Oh, that's cool. So this template was generated by Claude, and I did not realize that it had opted to query the fields that were on the index. I don't even know if that's accurate or how it works, to be honest. So I don't know if that script is right. We'll find out, though. Let's see. We are getting close to time, so I'm going to export one more version of this document and see where it lands. Okay. Script action, line 35 again. That's weird. I'm going to look at this real quick, and that'll be that. It's probably condition script. Out of curiosity, it did fix the database index one, though. So now the database indexes are in this document. And so now I can copy this. An updated version of the So this should allow me to update the document without it trying to regenerate a website. And I'm doing this just to kind of test the database indexes aspect of it. What database indexes are in this app? No. That's still hilarious. Apparently that error is still in there, and I still have to fix that one. And Claude is happy to call me out. All right, so with that, I am going to wrap things up for today, but that is the app that I've been working on. When I get off my rear end and do it, I'm going to create a Git repo for it and share that out so that everybody else can benefit from this work. Because I think this is a really powerful way to be able to interact between ServiceNow and AI. Despite the fact that many organizations are saying that you most definitely cannot do this, do not export data and put it into AI. Make sure you follow the company's policies for your customers and employers. But with that, thank you all very much for coming. It was a blast, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye, guys. Once I figure out how to get out.